Well, let's do this. First step is tools. There's only two have-to-have tools. One is you got to have your Allen wrench of the appropriate size. For this, it's 2.5 millimeter. The other is something to cut the end of the strings off with. Now, there's two other nice-to-have tools. One is this one. You know what that does. And then the last one, it could be anything that can fit under the bridge here. I like to wrap something soft around a 9-volt battery. It's about the right size. I'll show you when we get there. Now, but I'm going to do one other thing first to help y'all begin to understand some of the concepts about the tension of the springs versus the strings. You'll see. And before I go any further, I want to say something about the philosophy of dealing with a floating bridge guitar. If you're seeing all this stuff as just some pain in your ass impediment to playing guitar, I don't know that that's going to be the most helpful attitude for you. It's not for me. If you're a cook, if you're a chef, the chopping is part of the process. Procuring your groceries is part of the process. This is all part of the process, and to me, I'm about a whole life approach to guitar. It's not just the part where you touch this. I don't want to have some whole life guitar tech that does absolutely everything for me, tunes my guitar and, wipes my ass for me, and all I ever have to do is this part. It's all part of being a guitar player. It's all part of being in this lifestyle of being a musician and being somebody who this shit matters to. It's all part of your craft. So treat it as part of the process. You have a better experience. So now my springs are exposed, and you can see how when I do this, making the strings go floppy, that means the springs have to stretch out, and vice versa. If I pull back on the bar, that's compressing the. A floating bridge is floating because that bridge is not resting against anything. It's just balanced between the tension of the springs and the strings. All right, I'm gonna wrap this in a cloth so it's got a soft surface. You can also wrap it in tape. Then I'm gonna grab my bar, yank way up on it, and slip this under there. That's relieving the tension on here so that when I loosen the slack on one of these strings, the bridge isn't going to keep going back and want to possibly break the other strings. So your double locking tremolo is so named because it locks in two places. This is one of them. These things are locked down. The string can't move through here. I've got to undo that. So you get the idea. All right, I've loosened them there enough to get them finger loose, and then I'm going to get rid of all those. Now, they're unlocked. I could just loosen these. The strings aren't going to go flying because I've got this blocked here. But this is a bit of a pain in the ass. You don't have to remove it, but I certainly do. Loosened all the way. I can get that out the way. Now I can get rid of these strings. We're just going to show you one because that's all you need to see how it's all done. Little hiccup here that you might run into. I didn't put these here. I don't do this way, but the previous owner did. So if I unloosen that, I'm still not going to be able to pull it out. So I'm going to start with this end, actually. This is the second half of the double locking system. So that little block there is pressed in by this bolt, which is pinching the string, keeping it from moving. So I got to loosen this bolt. Had to switch to my right angle tool. Now I'm going to lefty-loosey this guy just a little. You see how my block moved just enough to free that string. Fast forward to this end where I'm taking my string out. There you go. Brand new 6 string. I'm going to reverse this process. Put this guy through here. Pull it through. I should have just enough play in this block to fit the string in there. You don't want to back that bolt out too much. Center it. Lock and tune.